Once again, I'm Joe Stevens.
And I am LTT Moose.
And we are the Equestrian Inquirer with Everfree Network, and we have three fantastic guests with us today at Las Pegasus Unicon. And I'll just go ahead and, since we got a big group, I'll just pass the microphone around. If you want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Garry Chalk. I'm a virgin, so be gentle with me.
We got massage oils, we got scented candles. It's all going to be very nice.
Oh, so we got the oil and we got the candles, so I'll be happy. and ponies are notoriously gentle, I've heard. So anyway, my name's Garry Chalk, and I play the part of Fido, one of the Diamond Dogs. So there you go.
All right. My name is Michael Daingerfield, and I played Braeburn. And it's great to be here. This is fantastic.
All right.
My name is Mark Oliver, and I play an arrogant French griffin called Gustave Le Grand.
All right, well, fantastic. All right, I guess the first kind of questions that we would have, especially going with, the voice acting in general, when you guys are approached with roles, such as this, I mean, these are basically characters that you have to create sight unseen. You don't get to see any of the, character design at that point.
Sometimes
Am I correct?
you do. Sometimes you do get a character design. Yeah.
Did you guys get any of that when you were working on this particular show?
No.
Okay.
No,
So you're basically. How does one go about creating a voice for a bodiless character?
Well, there's a. Do you have Home Depot down here?
Oh yeah.
I go to the paint department at Home Depot, and there's a guy there, a French guy, and whenever I want to bone up on French accents, you know the guy paint department, and you think you go, okay, want to go, and you want to say to that guy, okay, it's fine, you can knock it off now, but he really sounds like that, and he's
very French.
He's very French. He's so exaggerated and over the top. And if I really had to do sort of super duper extra French homework, then I like watching the French chef Michel Jacob on YouTube. And again, you look for the sort of little tics and personality traits which are going to play in a slightly more exaggerated fashion.
Right, more of almost a parody.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want it to be immediately identified as French.
Oh yes, that means you have to sort of lapse a little bit into like Sacre Bleu territory, and fine, that's okay.
Back into your Maurice Saville.
I've tried not to perpetuate hateful or hurtful or unkind stereotypes of the French people. But depending on how funny they are, we could let that go.
That's okay. They're doing that just fine on their own.
Yeah.
For my character for Braeburn, I just got like I can't even remember what the description was, but
It's an apple, wasn't it?
He was a member of the Apple family.
He's got an apple on his ass, is what he has. But no, I actually went to university in Kentucky, so I was there for 4 years, and I was around that kind of and I just got very comfortable at just sort of doing that thing, and then I just had to pitch it up to just get up to Appaloosa, just kind of get up into there and just kind of find that kind of 16-year-old sort of sound, and it was easy. I mean, he was a fun character to play, and it was so definitely borrow from your surroundings.
Exactly.
I think is one way, and then I think just for me personally, you just learn what you're good at, what your hits are, what archetypes you feel comfortable doing based on your voice, tone, and your personality.
Right.
So
you have a set.
Yeah, I just think that there's certain things that I just are in my wheelhouse, and then I kind of go after those, and then I try to deliver something good. And I definitely lean towards comedy because I've done it for a lot of years, but I've done some of the action stuff like Transformers too, and it's just kind of finding out what's right for you, and then hopefully you can put a good spin on it.
Is there any particular accent that you like you said you have your standard wheelhouse accents? Is there any particular one that you
love doing? Scottish.
Ah, yes.
Just whatever. I mean, there's a lot of there's a million different English accents you can do, but you sort of
based on each individual city has its own individual.
Well, it's funny. Mark is, he said to me one day, he's like, you should always be continuing to learn a new accent. Actors need to keep doing that. And I just that guy Paul Meyer, right?
Paul Meyer. I mean, some things are
who
it's always evolving. I went to school in England. I went to one of these sort of schools which don't really exist anymore. And we're
Schools?
A boys' school. I went to a boys, what they call a public school, but it's a private school. So you had access to all these people, and now I look back on those experiences and I realize that they're really like endangered species. Like voices are endangered species because of the internet and because of the way that worldwide television works. The unique characteristics or idiosyncrasies of regional dialects are fast.
block dialect.
Regional blocks are
Depending on which street you grew up on, yeah.
they're disappearing, and I would have to say that to a man and to a woman, my colleagues have a deep and abiding love and passion for studying these inflections and regional idiosyncrasies, and I think that's what makes the character engaging for the audience. And people go, "Oh, I've sort of heard somebody like that before, but I can't really put my finger on it." And we never think in terms of doing a celebrity voice or anything like that. I'd say that the great voice actors who I've been very privileged to work with and to learn from, it's always a real person's voice that they're doing, and they color them in and shade them in fascinating ways. So a pleasure to watch, and I'm always learning from my contemporaries.
More an anthropological study than anything else. This career.
Absolutely.
Me, I guess I would look at the character description to get sort of the emotional aspect of it, because you can get certain things from written that you don't get from the body. Mm-hmm. But when you see an actual picture of the character, you look at it and you go, well, what would this character laugh like? And if you can find the laugh, usually you can find the character, because even though it's a cartoon, you still have to obey physical laws. Mm-hmm. And if it's a long, thin, reedy voice, it's not going to come out like this unless it's funny, which it's not. But
unless the character's a 12-year-old girl, then yes, it's hilarious.
If it's a 12-year-old girl, then it's somewhat different. But most of the time, like for Fido, I looked at him and I took a variation of another character I used to do called Hack from Reboot. And he had a very
yes.
Push the button. I don't want to push the button. Every time I push the button, something bad happens. And I thought, well, because it's a dog. So what does a dog sound? What would a dog sound like? A big, angry pit bull kind of dog sound like? And so I said this. Oh, we're going to have kidnapped the little pony. We love the little pony. Come with us. And it seemed to work just fine. And that's what I would do with all my characters. And if someone is asking for a particular accent, I mean, I do a lot of accents anyway. Mm-hmm. I've played on TV, played Germans and Russians and Brits.
Excellent Russians.
Yes, my Russian. Oh yeah, I had to speak Russian.
Gary does excellent Russians.
You were there on one of those, weren't you? You were there for that.
I was there. I was there. I guess it was it Stargate?
Stargate, yeah.
Stargate, right. Playing a French ambassador.
Yes, and very good. And he was a very good Frenchman. But the thing about it is that there are places like there on the internet. There are accent banks.
I've seen a few of those. Yes,
and you can get accents from anywhere in the world. And find the rhythms, because it's all about music, right? It's all about rhythm and tone, rhythm and tone, rhythm and tone.
Exactly. Yep.
And
Idea is that one. That's the Paul Meyer site that
yeah,
you did, right?
Oh,
that's the one. Yeah.
Give it all away, Mike.
Yeah.
Tell us all your trade secrets. Yes.
Just hand it up on a plate, for God's sake. Well, there's idea for aspiring voice actors out there is a very good resource. So people get sort of scared of it. Idea, International Dialects of English Archives, and
that's one. Yeah, that's a great one.
That's a very good. That's a very, very good one. If you had to sort of go, oh my God, I have to sound like I'm from Liverpool tomorrow by 4:00, and so you will go and you sort through their database until you come upon examples of either female female speakers.
Sound like a 60-year-old woman.
Exactly.
But do you want a dockside Liverpudlian, or do you want a
So-
up the
so,
hill
yeah,
Liverpudlian, or you want a rich one or a poor
Someone
one?
who has already moved to
They have
Liverpool
all
for about
different
14
accents.
years.
Like in my neighborhood, we had, you could tell where somebody came from in the neighborhood by how they spoke. Like where I came from was Southampton in England. And they have a very sort of style. Well, me and my friend Mike went down the Shirley High Street, to see my mates there. And there was my father, right? But it's a different one when you get closer to the docks, and it's even more different when you start moving towards Salisbury. So they have a different kind of different kind of slang. They have different patterns of what they say, and it's
basically.
It's quite funny. And as Mark was saying earlier, the accents, the English accent, anyway, it doesn't matter where it is in the United States or Australia or Kiwis or wherever it is, they're all becoming homogenized.
Yes.
Because of the exposure to all these other accents, and people are starting to sound more American or more Canadian. Like it's hard to tell a Brit from Croydon and a Brit from Rugby. It used to be really different, but now they're sort of
pity. It's a great pity. I think that this sort of did you say homogeneity?
Homogeneity.
Homogenizations.
I'm sure some of the grammar scholars out there will tell us.
Yeah, homogeneous. It's a word that means everything's going the same. Like milk.
I mean, the United States. I mean, this is so funny because I think when I went to school in England, and people would do very, very, very bad American accents, and it's so incredibly rich. And I mean, I love just to be able to step out onto the streets of Las Vegas and hear this vast smorgasbord of voices. And will I try and place people within 5 or 10 miles? No, I can't do that. I've got a wooden ear for that stuff. But I mean, Texan voices. How many voices are there in Texas? At least 3 I can think of. Panhandle voice.
Dallas, Houston, Panhandle, the Gulf. There's 4 distinct accents there right off, and then there's all kinds of variations in between.
Austin, something in Austin, who knows, right?
Exactly. If you go more Tejano, toward the west, yeah.
And they talk a little faster and a little flatter as you get up towards Oklahoma, and it's quite something.
I could send a general question out to everybody who is tremendously enthusiastic about My Little Pony, and that is, what kind of voices do you respond to, and what makes it dramatic or engaging? Do you like those sort of overlooked voices? I mean, we have access to all sorts of things, and I think, gosh, no one's ever asked us to be French Canadian, not that often. No. Or there are few sort of things, and you work on them, and you think, one day, or you think, I'm going to crack the code of Welsh accent.
I think it'd be great to hear a Cajun pony or something like that. Wouldn't that be fun?
You're a brave man for
Cajun
taking on
pony?
Welsh.
Oh, that'd be funny. With Thibodeau, yeah. Yeah, we're going down there in a moment, yeah.
We could call him Gumbo. He could be Cajun Gumbo. Cajun pony named Gumbo.
Gumbo. I would see. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I don't know, why don't they have that?
So for all of you who have,
your
So for all of you who have those, fanfics out there where the South African pony meets the Israeli pony, we're good to go. Yes, we have now, some people who are willing to do
No limitation.
that, right?
No.
South African, I can do a South African accent, no problem at all. The thing it's right, man. When you go down to Joburg, they've got horses down there. I'm telling you, and they're funny. They can do tricks.
So, let's put this into context. It's been several years since you've done these actual episodes, because there's a long lead time between the acting out, the voice acting, and the actual show airs. So, we'll put you in the context here. Your agent or whoever made the phone call says, I got this job for you. Yeah. It's on a show called My Little Pony. What was your reaction to that?
What?
Flat what?
What's it called? And when do we record? I kind of liked it because I knew about My Little Pony before it was when it first became a cartoon series, because a friend of mine was in the original episodes. I don't know if you remember. I think it was Janice Jode. Janice Jode played some characters on there and did a lot of singing on that show. I thought it was wonderful. I had the same reaction when they asked me to play a big cloud in Care Bears, because when you think of Care Bears, you're going, well, what do you think we're going to do? And I thought, how the hell am I going to fit in Care Bears? But it worked out well, and this little character, myself and this little character named Tweezle, which we make all the flowers grow. It was wonderful. But, you say, well, this is going to be a bit of a challenge. And when I got there and we did it, it was quite fun. And so every job that comes, it's sort of a new experience and a new adventure. It's another way to go, because a lot of times, like, I play big characters. And not very often do I get to play little ones.
Really?
It's absolutely true.
So
It's absolutely true, except I think there was one character I played named Geppel in New Adventures of He-Man. And he had a voice way up here, and he thought it like that. Oh, it was nuts, and I would come out so sore at the end of the day. You think it's easy? You don't know my pain. But, and every once in a while, you get something that really puts you on the spot.
What was your guys'? Yeah, what was your reaction?
Well, something that's quite common, at least over the last 5 years at least, is a lot of us have home studios and we send in the auditions. So, my agent said, okay, hey, it's My Little Pony audition for Braeburn, and you kind of, you work on it at home. You don't actually go to the studio to do the audition. So you can actually spend a little more time on it. You can do your thing, just make sure it sounds the way you want it to, and then you send it in. And so that's what I did. And then, I got the call. It's like, you're going to play Braeburn on My Little Pony. I certainly had heard of the show, for sure. But of course, once got involved a little bit further with all this, I had no idea that the fandom is this big with MLP. It's amazing. So
Blows your mind.
yeah, it's absolutely, it's very cool. So yeah, I mean, because the show was when it was it in the 80s, or is that what the original? Yeah,
80s,
yeah. So it's definitely. I'm wondering if the fans from the 80s are the fans now. Is that
Well, it's
what's
probably
happening?
like the Transformers. There's the Gen 1 fans. Right.
Oh, the Gen 1.
Yes,
Gen 1 is
and they're so loyal to their generation. I mean,
Right.
It's killer. It says,
Right.
He's Gen 3. Gen 3.
3.5 is too much.
Yeah.
Well, and I used to get that all the time with the Transformers, because Transformers have gone through so many iterations since 1984 or 82, I think.
Right, yeah.
But I had no idea. I mean, I used to do the commercials for Transformers for the toys, but that was the extent of my thing. The Transformers Generation 2 battery sold separately.
Ha!
And they always forgot the batteries on Christmas morning. They never forgave them.
The expression "batteries sold separately" was the expression of our childhood.
Yeah,
Kids
pretty
in
much.
the 80s.
Pretty much. Yeah.
New from
Yeah.
Captoy. What was that? The Super Soaker 2000. All those kind of things. But I think the microphone. The thing is that you would always get someone who would go, yeah, well, you'll never be Gen 1. I said, well, you'll never be Gen 2, so shut up. You just go back and forth and back and forth. And it was so funny. There were 4 of us who played Optimus Prime in the Transformers cartoons, and of the 4, 3 were Canadian, which is odd. The original was Canadian. Peter Cullen, he was from Montreal, and myself from Vancouver, and David Kay from Vancouver. And then there was that lone outlier, that guy, my pal, what's his face, Neil Kaplan, who's a great guy. I really like him. We've been around to a few things, but as I say, it's just like, they all have their own loyalties, and some people have their own herd loyalties, right? There are some people who just stay with this group, and then there's someone who will stay with this group, and you never really conceive of something like that happen. Like, you know, when I first got into cartoons, I just thought, oh, another job. It's just cartoons. And when they gave me the Transformers job, oh, it's just a Transformers job. But I had no idea,
the fans
that it's
behind it.
worldwide. And now you get people from all over the world. And the same with My Little Pony. And even my little character who has, like, you know, when you go there, I think the shortest YouTube video ever, the shortest YouTube video ever, it's 3 seconds long. And it goes, oh, there's My Little Pony, and grab, and then it's over. And I go, oh, that's terrific. But they are, it's had like, I don't know, 30,000 views. And I'm going, that's just weird, you know. But it's, again, My Little Pony is another thing that's all over the world. And I think I'm quite frankly, I'm kind of honored and humbled to be a part of that worldwide phenomenon. So there you go.
And we still have much to contribute to the My Little Pony
We're
world.
getting old, but we're like cheese. We're getting better.
That's right. We do get
Like a
better.
fine wine.
We do get better as we get older.
So, Mark, what was your reaction?
I was going to say that I have to pinch myself if I get cast on these, you know, very iconic shows. I was well aware of My Little Pony, and My Little Pony has a very large mythology attached to it. So, you know, and then I got cast, and then I, you know, was trying to do as much homework as I could, because I like that, you know. Doing cartoon voices is the only thing that I've been accepted for really creatively in my life. I mean, there was a sort of a tangible check attached to the session. I mean, I've done all sorts of creative pursuits, so I have a lot invested in it, and I'm just very happy to be accepted by, you know, some small slice
And
of
your
the
character
public.
actually was Braeburn and Fido were a season 1 character, and your character came in on season 2. So had you been exposed to it all of what season 1 was about? Had you seen any of the show before you actually did your role?
I pay attention to everything, and you know, I pay attention to shows that I will never ever get cast on because, you know, I mean, I can't. There's one particular show. It was an English show. It was done with stop motion animation or sort of marionette animation, and there was talk of it coming to our town, but it is now going somewhere else.
Which one?
I don't know if am I allowed to say?
There is a
course I
pony
say.
convention in Vancouver coming up. Yeah, there's a
All right,
pony,
I'll say
pony
it.
can.
Thunderbirds has gone to New Zealand.
Oh, Thunderbirds. That's right. That's right.
So you know,
Love that show.
Love that show. I love that show too. So you really love getting. It's a big thrill to be accepted on these very iconic shows.
I didn't like the movie though. I gotta say.
No.
I gotta say, I loved the original Thunderbirds. I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid, and Brain Boy and all the
I loved
you know,
it as well. I loved
in
it.
Super Marionation.
Yeah.
Love that.
That was the hook.
And the old guy who played what's her face? What's her name? The
Lady
woman?
Penelope?
Huh?
Lady Penelope.
Lady Penelope. The guy who played her chauffeur. The old guy who played her
I was
chauffeur.
always trying to teach myself how to walk like that.
But
Lady Penelope.
he sounded exactly like, I thought it was Peter Sellers playing the voice because he sounded exactly like the guy Nettie from the Goon Show. He said,
Oh, yeah,
right
well,
now
they should-
we're just going out there, Miss Lady Penny Farthing or whatever her name is, Penelope.
Oh yeah, I'm
It's-
definitely informed it for sure.
Yeah, it sounded just like that character.
Definitely.
And the same with this one. The thing I like about this show, I've been watching, you know, some of the shows because I have to do my research, you know. And watching some of the shows, and I got to say,
And the cereal in the morning as you're sitting there Saturday morning.
Oh, yes.
That's
right.
yes,
Captain
the
Crunch,
Cocoa
yeah,
Puffs
yeah.
or the cinnamon toast.
Yeah,
Cinnamon toast.
A man
yeah.
of taste.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm finding that you know, despite the characters are a little bit out of my ballywick. I'm not really a big pony fan, but I really like the writing of it. The stories are great, and it's quite addictive. And some of the characters are just adorable. But it's not, you know, something that I would go out of my way to watch because it's just not my thing. Then when I watched it, I'm going, wait a minute. think I'm turning into a brony. No! No, wait. No. What's this? I put it was just a towel. The towel was hanging out of the back of my pants. There was nothing there. It was just a towel. No, those aren't metal things on my feet.
That's right.
I think you described the dawning realization.
The dawning realization that
older fans of this have
wait a minute.
Yeah.
What am I doing with this halter? Ah!
Well, you touched on something earlier, talking about when you saw like the 3-second YouTube video, the reaction that your characters have really resonated. And I'd like Michael you to talk about this specifically because Braeburn has such a huge following.
Yeah,
I mean, he's iconic. And what was your reaction?
Maybe you can help. Maybe you guys can help me because I don't.
We'll do our darndest.
I had definitely had a lot of fun playing the character. It was a lot of fun to play, and doing that sort of Kentucky accent thing that I'm very familiar with. Somebody, I think it was Sherry that was saying, who's my convention agent, was saying that Braeburn's one of the only male ponies, or there isn't that many. Is that right?
Yeah,
Is that
not with
sort of part of the
role? Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's maybe part of it. And maybe it's some of the other work that I've done too. I don't know. Maybe there's some, some Ace Ventura fans out there, or Superman fans, or whatever. Some of the stuff I've done over the years, and but it's it's like Garry was saying. You kind of just send in auditions, and sometimes you just don't realize like it's going to end up being this iconic show, or it's going to have this huge following, and you're kind of like, wow, I just can't believe that I got to do this, and then here you are sitting in Vegas and talking to you all, So it's very cool, yeah. And I know and I've checked it out online too. Like I know there's a lot of the episode I think that I was in on YouTube's been viewed 100,000 times or whatever. Like it's just huge views, and then there's clips, and there's a Facebook fan page I think for Braeburn, which
everyone wants him to come back. Everyone wants to see more Braeburn.
So maybe I was in the shuttle with two of the head writers, so maybe I should pass along some of those tidbits of information there. Yes. So yeah.
But speaking of that, speaking of I guess segueing into the online community aspect of it. I mean, you guys have long illustrious careers, doing these characters for many years, but of course now with the advent of the internet, the rise of social media, the fans seem to have much more access. I would say they have they catch a person who's said one line, welcome to Appaloosa, and they can identify that person, and then they can follow you, find out on your work. Have you guys been affected by that at all? As far as the social media aspect of it?
Well, I think the reason why we're here probably just because they probably investigated our work and certainly had a chance. Maybe they didn't see the episode and they can see it online, or people have done Facebook fan pages or whatever it might be. I think that's certainly a part of it.
Okay.
There's a girl in South Africa who's crocheted every single character that I've voiced. And she showed them to me.
That's amazing.
So
and one day you're gonna wear every single one on your body at the same time.
Well, I was just. I was delighted. She did a very fine crochet job on them.
That's incredible.
It's incredible, and people do reach out through social media, and they want to know more. And
part of the thing is that being a voice actor, and Garry, we've all done TV, and Garry's probably done the most out of us in terms of TV and film and stuff. But doing voice, you don't get contacted or at least pre-internet sort of when all that started. Mm-hmm. There was no sort of oh, I know of this person because they did this voice. I mean, voice actors were just behind the curtain, right, like the Wizard of Oz doing our thing, and we'd leave the studio. Story about that in a minute. And that's, I was the voice of the Wizard of Oz. No, I'm just kidding. He's right. That was me. But no, I wouldn't put it past you. So that's what I'm trying to say. But it's just kind of cool that you end up being noticed, or people because even when I did Ace Ventura, which at the time was a big high-profile job, yep, and I did some interviews with it and TV Guide and stuff like that, but it certainly wasn't
There
you
were
know,
there were no Ace
it was
Ventura conventions.
no, there certainly wasn't. Which maybe 20 years later or 15 years later, there might have been something around it. Or I would have went to Comic-Con or who knows, whatever, right? Stuff like that. So it's cool to be recognized a little bit and say, hey, we really like your work because it is artistic. What we're doing, it's very creative and
It's a craft.
and we're hustling. Like there's voices that we do that we really. Like Mark's saying, does his research. We get in the studio and we're sweating. We're trying to do the best we can, and to do a good job. So it's nice to be recognized a little bit, right?
I think also, I don't think this is important for anybody who's an aspiring voice actor out there, that this pursuit is a very pure one. And when I watch people lift a script off of the page and make it come alive, and it's a fascinating thing. And there's no. There's no hiding, but there's no hiding behind anything. It really is like, look, Mom, no hands. So it's situation, and I have, of course, I have tremendous respect for all of the great actors who appear on screen. But the sound and the human voice is like a thief who breaks in through the basement door of the imagination.
That is an amazing image.
That's
poetic.
And it works too.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
That's great.
Very well said.
Oh, well, there we go.
We'll write that down and use it for later.
And my biography. This will be the title.
That's right. That's good.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
sorry, I was going to say.
Yeah.
So I'm shooting a movie over in Victoria called it was about this band, the Big Time Rush, from the Nickelodeon. I guess they're on Nickelodeon, and I was doing the Big Time movie. And one day I thought, I'm going to go downtown, because we were in Victoria in BC, and I said, I'm going to go downtown. So I got in the bus and I said, hi, how you doing, to the bus driver. Just want to get down to the Empress Hotel. Is this the right bus? And from the back of the bus I hear, wait a minute. I know that voice. I know that voice. Optimus!
That happened to you, really?
And I went,
Classic.
huh? And this huge black guy who was in the Navy, in the Canadian Navy, came running up to the front of the bus and he goes, are you Garry Chalk? And I said, yes, I am. I knew it. I know that voice. I know that voice. And I thought, well, I'm just going to take a ride downtown on the bus. Well, no. Now everybody goes, I thought it was you. You're that guy. And I went, oh, God. But I've heard so many times in my life, it's a weird form of fame. It's called, you're that guy. Mm-hmm. Or I know you. Yeah. And it says, I'm on television. Nope, that's not it. I know you you were at my sister's wedding. No, I wasn't. But I've heard you're that guy so many times that's going to be the title of my autobiography. You're that guy. Almost famous, but not quite. And I get recognized by my voice about 3 or 4 times in a year. You might get someone come up, I knew that voice. I've heard that voice. And it's particularly funny when the customs guy, when you're going through the border, goes, you're that guy. How you doing? Oh, I'm doing fine. But yeah, as Mark was saying, that voice acting is I think the purest form of acting, no matter what, because your physical, emotional, intellectual, geographical intent has to be absolutely clear, right? If you're in a field, you're in a field. You're not in a closet. And because they draw around your voice, rather than you voice something they've already drawn, you've got to give it that extra little bit so that they have something to work with when they're doing their animation. And I think because you have no physical cues or no facial cues, everything has to be done with your voice. So it's a real challenge to anybody to grab a script and read the script for the first time and lift it off the page right away and create something living and something that you care about. And that's the key, I think, with all the characters in this My Little Pony show, is every single character in the show, the fans and all the people that watch it really care about them. And even though that they know they're just people voicing the things, those little ponies are real characters.
Yeah, right.
because they live in a real world, and they have the real feelings and real interactions with other people in an unreal setting,
Right.
which makes it quite endearing. And because there's nothing worse than doing a character that someone goes meh. You know, we don't care.
Don't get a reaction.
Yeah,
Right.
no
Even if
reaction.
it's a bad
No.
reaction, at least you evoked it.
Well, it sounds like there's no transformer. You might be a brony, I think. That you might have already gone in there. And so, well, now that we are here, we're exposed to the brony community. We've, as you said, taken your brony virginity, which is a very special moment for me. Thank you very much for that. And how are you feeling? Are you feeling the love? Are you feeling the love of the community? Is it a good place to be here?
So far, so good. So far, so good. I haven't had anybody come up to me and say, "You're the bastard who tried to kidnap her. I hate you." No, it hasn't happened yet. But no, because they don't. I'm hopeful they don't take it that far. But no, so far people have been very warm and
we were
very
hugged.
open.
We've been hugged.
Hugged.
We were hugged.
We've been hugged.
Everyone gets hugs. It's a hugging community.
There's a lot of love. There's a lot of love with this whole thing. It's very warm. and
How do you
loving.
attach a price tag to a hug?
You don't. But the thing is,
Priceless.
in the world the way it is, with all these, the mass killings at Sandy Hook and Aurora and all these places, this is a world where that doesn't exist. And I think people more than anything want that innocence. They want that camaraderie, that warmth, and that compassion that it's not out there in the real world a lot of times. And I just a guy I know, Sean Keating, was just did this video on bullying, a poem on bullying. Have a look. It's fantastic. It's an animated essay on the effects of bullying. And there's a lot of that in the world as well. There's a lot of negativity in the world. We need a positive image,
love. We need love
positive
and positivity.
message, and a lot of love and understanding.
Well, we're so happy that you are a part of something that is special to so many people, and thank you so much for coming and doing this interview with us. It's been great. You guys are hilarious. We love talking. Now that we have a chance to speak with you directly, is there anything you'd like to say before we go to the fans out there, the fans of My Little Pony and the fans of Reboot and Transformers and other ones? What would you like to say?
Such great fans. Thanks for being such great fans and recognizing our work and creating these conventions that we can come to and connect with you. And if you can't come, maybe you can come to another one, or we can connect online. But it's very cool. I mean, we're down here in Vegas because of you, and that's pretty cool. So we dig that. So we dig you guys. Thank you for that.
I concur with my esteemed colleague.
I yield my remaining time.
My thing to all you fans out there, to all the ones, keep on believing. And the more of you that believe, the better the world will be.
We can't say it anything better than that. So I think I'm just going to say I'm Joe Stevens,
And I'm LTT Moose.
and this is the Equestrian Car Everfree Radio from Las Pegasus Unicon. Keep watching.
Do you have Home Depot down here? Oh, yeah. I go to the paint department at Home Depot, and there's a guy there, a French guy, and whenever I want to bone up on French accents, the guy paint department, and you think you go, okay, I want to go, and you want to say to that guy, okay, it's fine, you can knock it off now. But he really sounds like that, and he's
very French.
He's very French. He's so exaggerated and over the top. And if I really had to do sort of super duper extra French homework, then I like watching the French chef Michel Jacob on YouTube. And again, you look for the sort of little tics and personality traits which are going to play in a slightly more.
What he has, But no, I actually went to university in Kentucky, so I was there for 4 years, and I was around that kind of and I just got very comfortable at just sort of doing that thing, and then I just had to pitch it up to just get up to Appaloosa, just kind of get up into there and just kind of find that kind of 16-year-old sort of sound, and it was easy. I mean, he was a fun character to play, and it was so definitely borrow from your surroundings.
Exactly.
I think
yes.
is one way, and then I think just for me personally, you just learn what you're good at, what your hits are, what archetypes you feel comfortable doing based on your voice, tone, and your personality.
Right.
You know,
so
I
you have a set that
I
you're
just think that
comfortable with,
there's certain things that I just are in my wheelhouse, and then I kind of go after those, and then I try to deliver something good.
Exaggerated fashion.
Right. More of almost a parody.
Does that make sense?
You want it to be immediately identified as French.
Oh yes, you know, and you know that that means you have to sort of lapse a little bit into like Sacre Bleu territory, and fine, that's okay. So
back into your Maurice Chevalier.
I've tried not to perpetuate hateful or hurtful or unkind stereotypes of the French people. But you know, depending on how funny they are, we could let that go.
That's okay. They're doing that just fine on their own.
Yeah.
For my character for Braeburn, I just got like I can't even remember what the description was, but
It's an apple, wasn't it?
He was a member of the
he's
Apple
got
family.
an apple on
yeah.
his ass. It's great to be here. This is fantastic.
All right.
My name is Mark Oliver, and I play an arrogant French griffin called Gustave Le Grand.
All right, well, fantastic. All right, I guess the first kind of questions that we would have, especially going with, the voice acting in general. When you guys are approached with roles, such as this, I mean, these are basically characters that you have to create sight unseen. You don't get to see any of the, character design at that point. Am I correct?
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do get a character design. Yeah.
Did you guys get any of that when you were working on this particular show?
No.
Okay.
No, I did
So
not.
you're basically, how does one go about creating a voice for a bodiless character?
Well, there's a
Once again, I'm Joe Stevens.
And I am LTT Moose.
And we are the Equestrian Choir with Everfree Network, and we have three fantastic guests with us today at Pegasus Unicon. And I'll just go ahead and, since we got a big group, I'll just pass the microphone around. If you want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Garry Chalk. I'm a virgin, so be gentle with me.
we got massage oils, we got scented candles. It's all going to be very nice.
Oh, so we got the oil and we got the candles, so I'll be happy. and ponies are notoriously gentle, I've heard. So anyway, my name's Garry Chalk, and I play the part of Fido, one of the Diamond Dogs. So there you go.
All right. My name is Michael Daingerfield, and I played Braeburn.